Jamie's like cuddling it mid-pop.
Yeah. Please do not let your dog on the furniture.
That's what we call trauma. Imagine receiving that. My heart would fall out of my arsehole.
I'd be in the car
I would be
going
like,
to that friend.
I need to fix this right now.
Where
What's
are
going
you?
on? You're through to 1-800-DRAMA, the show where you share your biggest dilemmas and I help you navigate them. I'm Shaaba, and with your help,
And sometimes mine.
let's help people figure out if they are the drama, because sometimes you just need an outside perspective and we can all expand our own mindsets along the way. Are you ready to dive deep into the a-holes? Let's go.
Red flag, green flag, Shaaba.
Hit me.
You know those people who tell you one of your habits and one of the things you do is really bad and unhealthy, but then they have a bunch of other unhealthy habits that they do themselves, but it just doesn't happen to include the one you do, so then they have a go at you about it. Sorry, that was a long one, but it's a personal bugbear of mine.
I feel like this has happened to you recently.
It has. It's mostly because I have a little bit of a weakness for zero sugar fizzy drinks.
Okay, Jamie.
They are my thing.
You just need to accept that you are like 80% Coke Zero.
No,
Pepsi
but
Max.
I have a limit and I've read papers on the ingredients and how much you need to drink for it to actually be dangerous. I feel reasonably confident I'm doing okay. I also do not smoke, do not drink alcohol, do not drink coffee. And people who do all of those things in excess and abundance tell me that I'm really unhealthy for drinking fizzy drinks. As in like chastise me. And they're like, oh, you really shouldn't. And I never turn around and go, oh, Brenda, stop it with the red wine.
It's because it's much easier to say, take my advice. I'm not using it. It's hypocritical.
But do we red flag these
mean,
people?
are you asking me, is being hypocritical a red flag? Yes. Okay?
Yes.
A red flag. Was this a good opportunity for you to vent?
I feel better. Thank you. I also red flag for the record. Do you know what I don't red flag though?
Oh, what's that?
A little bit of self-promo. Take it away.
Are you talking about my new song?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm so sorry for anybody who's already known about Weird, my little new musical baby that is coming out to the world very, very soon.
Kicking and crying and screaming and covered in amniotic fluid.
If you're watching this on the day that it comes out or listening on our gorgeous podcast platforms on the day it comes out, Weird is only 4 days away. 4 days from being birthed and being yours, and it's a project that I'm really, really proud of. I'm really trying to get as many pre-saves as we can. The number we're trying to hit is 1,000. So if you could help me with that, it's entirely free for you to do. It takes about 10 seconds of your time. You can take a look at the links in the bio.
Do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
If you're a fellow weirdo like me and you want to be able to unleash that a little bit in a totally non-shady, safe space way, maybe that song is for you. Please feel free to listen to it. If you're watching this afterwards, you don't need to pre-save it. Or if you're watching this pre-7th of Feb, maybe you want to pre-save. Just help me out.
Shaaba has a great little dance that goes along with this song.
I do
might see
also have some other really big news actually that's not self-promo but something for this podcast that we've just started.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What is it?
We have only gone and created a 1-800-DRAMA subreddit.
Oh my god, we're on a subreddit. We are a subreddit.
We are a subreddit.
I feel like we've grown up.
With this podcast, as you know, we have a format where we take a look at existing dramas on the internet, but we also ask you, gorgeous fellow peaches, to give us some dramas of your own so that we could help you out. And it has been a wonderful process. We've done it via an email form on our website so far, but we are inundated with so many requests. We're feeling really bad that we can't go through everything. And so I just thought, hang on a second, why are we keeping this private and just to ourselves? Why not make it so that you can ask this gorgeous community too? Everyone who normally gives advice in these comment sections are so nice. I do think it's a very different vibe to the Am I the Arsehole subreddit itself, which is why we thought it'd be a really good idea to make one. So going forward for 2025, if you want to submit your own drama, you can now do so via the 1-800-DRAMA subreddit. Oh! And if you don't have a drama to submit for yourself, but you've got a lot of advice that you'd like to give out, please feel free to pop on there. Help a fellow peach out. Just remember to be kind. There are rules on it. So follow the rules. It's all like basic peachy stuff. If you watch this channel, if you like these values, you'll be totally fine with them. Yeah, it's going to be fun. You can also upvote ones that you want to feature on the podcast. We'll put on as many as we can, of course, but it just means that for the ones that we can't put on, hopefully Peach is not feeling left out and like they're just asking advice to an ether. Now it's a Peach planet who can actually respond.
Yes, super excited. You can also become a member of the subreddit, which would be really cute. And then it says like so many peaches online. Woo! And then we sometimes get tagged in posts on other subreddits like Am I the Arsehole that you want us to react to, but now you can cross post it into our very own subreddit, so we're more likely to see it. So it's just very streamlined.
Yes,
yeah,
because we don't always check our DMs.
Go forth and subreddit.
All right, Jamie, without further ado, are you ready to go fishing for
Drama.
assholes? Let's go. Ooh, drama.
Am I the drama, Shaaba?
Always.
For not letting my husband hold our baby. What? For not letting my husband hold our baby?
Ooh.
You have a baby with somebody and you trust them enough to have a baby with them, but then they can't to hold the baby. Take it away, Shaaba.
OP says, my husband and I recently became parents. Congratulations, my love.
Congratulations.
I gave birth over a month ago to our first child. I'm on maternity leave, but my husband isn't on paternity leave, so that means that I am the primary caregiver for our baby.
Right. Okay.
This is fine so far.
Yes.
Your face is like, okay.
This is
so unreasonable.
I'm waiting for the unhinged.
You got your badge at the ready. It's like,
Yeah.
However, I don't like it when anyone wants to hold our baby because he is so small and fragile.
As babies often are.
I love my husband very much, but I don't want him to hold our baby. My husband is autistic and bipolar. I'm internally cringing because I feel like this is being used as some sort of excuse, and it's not coming across great, OB.
No,
I just have to put that out there. Woo! He's a little clumsy and he zones out sometimes because of his psychosis.
Right. One, it's sounding a little ableist.
It's sounding hugely ableist.
Hugely
yes.
ableist. But it's also sounding like...
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm nervous, not because it's funny. It's absolutely not
I get
funny.
it.
I did it again.
You did it again, okay.
Laugh.
But just taking a pause here and reading the story, we have to accept sometimes there are certain limitations that people can do given their certain circumstances. However, you gestated that baby for 9 months. Was this never like a topic that came up as a conversation? If you didn't have faith in your partner as a parent, why would you have a baby with them? I'm not saying that she's right in not trusting him. I'm just saying if she really feels that way.
I think my gut feeling when I saw the title is I was just like, oh, this feels like this is a mum, like if we're going with cishet norms, right? Being a primary caregiver and having had a baby, just being so overwhelmed by the sense of I need to care for this squish.
Yeah.
You've now taken it way too far. So I feel like if this is something that has like a feeling that's only manifested from OP after the baby's after the squish has been squished, you know, then maybe
she doesn't want
why.
the squish to be squished. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Can I ask, in fear of sounding a little bit dumb, which is fine, because if you don't know, you don't know, what is psychosis? What does that mean? I get clumsiness. I mean, everyone's clumsy. You're really clumsy, but I wouldn't think that you're gonna drop the baby. You're like, there are things that you just don't.
I've held
drop.
babies, but I've never dropped a baby, and I've held several.
Yeah. Does that mean that he doesn't own anything? I'm sure he owns a phone, which is probably going to be very expensive, and a laptop.
Not that you are comparing electronics to a baby.
And a glass. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we're going to be like, oh, you're clumsy, you can't hold my baby, it's a bit of a lame excuse. There are so many things that we know not to be clumsy with that we therefore are very, very unlikely to drop. And I feel like a baby falls into that category.
And then if you're concerned, it's like when kids are younger, not that I think he should be treated like a child, but for the younger kids, they are sat when they're holding the baby. They don't stand up and hold a baby. There's ways that if you know you're a clumsy person,
you put in measures to... Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't just never use a glass or never use a phone, right?
Yeah.
Or never hold a baby. But that I can understand, the clumsy thing. What does it mean he zones out sometimes because of his psychosis?
Psychosis is a severe mental condition in which thought and emotions are so affected that contact is lost with external reality. Oh, so that sounds like a break, like an extreme dissociation, maybe?
So like a huge cognitive dissociation where you're unresponsive, kind of like sleepwalking?
I don't want to over-assume.
I hear you.
That's what the definition was.
Sure. Assuming that is the case, I can understand if that happens really frequently, why you would be nervous. There was somebody in my school who had narcolepsy. I would see her like walking down a corridor to a class, and along that walk, she would like walk up against the wall and kind of fall asleep. Maybe twice.
Okay.
To give you an understanding of the frequency, I can understand if something like these psychosis episodes happen as frequently as that, why you would need to have a discussion. But I would never even think, if that was you, to be like, oh, you therefore can't hold the baby.
Yeah.
My initial thought would be like, hold the baby sitting down. I'll be around when you're holding the baby just in case.
No, I completely agree. It's like, it's not a reason to completely prevent somebody from being able to do something, but it's a reason why maybe certain extra measures are put in place. Yeah. And but also like, okay, a newborn baby is small and fragile. A child, until they're like relatively older, are still more fragile and need constant watching. Like that's just gonna get harder. I think this divide of like, I don't feel like you're able to parent properly from OP to her husband is gonna get bigger and bigger as the kid gets older.
Also,
because
think
a
about the impact on the child.
toddler needs to be watched constantly. Yeah, and imagine never being held by your father.
Right, you want like you yearn for that like skin to skin contact is also really important in those early stages, but also like just having cuddles. rules.
Yeah. I'm also saying this from the point of like plenty of people are raised by single mothers or two mothers. I'm not saying like being held by your father is so important, but having a father who's physically present but has never held you is very bizarre.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially if he wants to. Let's read the rest of the post because I feel like this is all really important context. OP says, today, my husband finally asked why I never let him hold the baby. I told him that I don't trust him with holding babies because he's clumsy and I don't want anyone other than myself to hold our baby.
But the word is in our baby. He's not just your baby. He's two people's babies.
I also think it's really telling to say I don't want anyone other than myself.
Yeah.
So your problem isn't actually with the specific issues that you're trying to say is your husband's fault. You don't want anyone to hold this kid, right? Which I feel like speaks to this being a you problem, babe, not a your husband problem.
Yeah, or the myself is an excuse to not tell him the real reason.
He told me that he can't believe that I'm still being ridiculous about this because it's been over a month that he's been born. Imagine having a baby for a month and wanting to just give that little squish a cuddle just not being able to.
I want to hold our baby like it's coming out and I'm holding it.
Jamie's like cuddling it mid-pop.
Yeah. They'll be like, the head's out. The head's out, and I'm like, hello. Oh, that's a terrible visualization.
It really is.
Moving on. But I do question, did it really take him over a month to put the two and two together of like, I've never held my own child? That's a long time.
So. I think it's like finally asking you. It could be something like he's like, okay, let's see where this goes. And it's just like a growing frustration. It's like, dude, what the frick? Just let me hold my damn child. OP finishes off by saying my husband got really upset and left to sleep at his parents' house tonight. I'm not sure when I'll feel comfortable with him holding our baby, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Am I the drama for this?
Yes.
Yeah, I really think you are, babe.
Like, dude, I get it. Everybody's different. Some people are better at some things than others. Some people have things that means they need extra measures or extra help or extra assistance in their lives, and they can't do things in the same way other people can do. We need to accept that, not be ableist about it, and recognize that you cannot just prevent the literal other parent of your child who wants to be an active parent from being an active parent. This is so unreasonable, and if it was this big of a concern to you, why did you have a child with this person in the first place?
Yeah.
Seriously.
If it's a concern that did not just manifest post-birth.
This is not to do with him being so small and fragile. She said, I don't know when I will be comfortable with him holding the baby. This is just you
being really scared because you're a new mom and being a new parent is
just thinking one thing. I do think therapy or speaking to somebody would really help because this could be caused by postpartum. Yeah.
It's definitely a thought that crossed my mind.
My head just clicked. I don't want to be too, I do think you're being arsehole for not.
Just because you're like, how have you not thought about this beforehand? It could be that it's not been a problem in OP's life beforehand.
I think this shows that it's a you thing that needs to be resolved, and you are absolutely the drama for not exploring why you're having those feelings.
And I think you're extra the drama, if I may just interject there real quick, for also giving an ableist excuse when it's clearly not about that. It's about you needing to be safe for your baby.
Yeah, like have the in-laws held the baby.
It sounds like no, because she's saying I don't want anyone else to hold the baby.
Yeah, thinking about it more, this does sound like something that is reasonably common to happen where people get overly like, oh my gosh, this baby must protect.
And that is not a great way to be a mum either. You're not being the best mum for your squish, because then your squish is going to grow up in cotton wool, both physically but also metaphorically, with things like not being allowed out because they won't be safe, and not just getting to experience life as life should be because you're trying to like wrap them up so much, and that's just not a good idea, is it?
Yeah, but this definitely sounds like there's something going on that OP needs to work through, and your husband absolutely deserves to hold his child.
For sure. And whilst I do maintain this badge that you drew out very quickly,
I just feel really bad for this guy not being able to hold his own baby.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I will say one thing though. Call me out if this is the wrong thing to say.
Shaaba.
For me, I've got a little bit of a niggle in me. It really pisses me off that husband up and went to the parents' house. Like, that annoys me. And the other thing that annoys me is he's gone, oh, why won't you let me? And she's gone, because you're clumsy. And he's like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. But like, talk more. How was that the only part of the conversation? We always say communication is key, and it's so true. 99% of these problems would be solved with good communication. But if you just dug down deeper in that between yourselves, you would have gotten so much further in that conversation. And then you as parent, regardless of gender, right, just upping and leaving. I know that she's in the wrong here. At the same time, that is not a good co-parenting move. To be like, I'm annoyed with you, I'm gonna leave. What? Like, how is that providing any kind of sense of trust? If all you're going to do is
I
escape the situation.
hear you.
It does frustrate
But
me.
as your husband and someone who knows you very well, I'm also aware that walking away in this kind of scenario is a bit of a trigger for you. It can,
And we will come at these with our own biases. And that's what I'm saying. It is a niggle.
I think that there will be a lot of people who agree with you. I also think there will be a lot of people who think you're being too harsh because this guy feels completely shut out by his wife with their kid. You don't know the conversation that went on. They might not have a spare room. He might be like, I don't want to be close with you right now. Maybe he does want to be there to parent, but the house doesn't allow for him to stay somewhere else. There's maybe other factors going on. And it's difficult for me because like it wasn't something that jumped out at me straight away because I am somebody who's like, I need a little bit of space.
Yes.
But you are definitely somebody that if there's a problem, you are sticking to me like a little barnacle and we are fixing it.
Fix it.
But that's
I just wanna
because
fix it.
you want to talk things through.
Yeah.
As a couple, we do dive deep into anything that we disagree on
Sure. It's
until
our
we get to a
communication style.
resolution.
I hear you.
We would never go and stay at a parent unless like the relationship was over.
I do hear your point. Thank you for allowing me to grow and for opening my perspective in that way.
I still don't think you're wrong. I definitely think it's coming from your personal life experience in a very deep way.
I think it's coming from that, which is understandable, but also from the fact that maybe we're not getting the full story.
Yeah.
There. Because based on this alone, if you're upping and leaving just because she's gone, you're clumsy, and you're going like, this is ridiculous, and that's it, that does feel a bit immature. But if the conversation did progress and turned into a really heated argument, I could understand why you're like, okay, you are not seeing me. I think we need some time to think this through.
Yeah.
I think I need to give you some space and I need to give some space, or I'm going to say something I regret. But at the moment, it sounds like what's happened, based on OP's rendition of it here, is he's gone, this is ridiculous. She's ignored him and he's just gone, I'm leaving. And that's just not, like, it's not a good way.
I don't think my brain even went there as that being an interpretation.
That's so interesting.
I think
mine did, because that's all
I naturally assumed that this is a very like sanitized version of what's happened.
Do you think so? Do you think OP is really holding back?
But
in
OP's
the
also saying,
conversation?
I'm not sure when I'll feel comfortable with holding our baby. Imagine if she said, you're clumsy, and what if she did bring in the autism and the bipolar and the psychosis into it? And what if she did say, I don't know when I'll trust you? And he's like, well, when can I hold our baby? And she's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to trust you. Oh my goodness, how hurt would you be? This person that you're married to, you've just had a baby with, you want to raise this baby with them, has just said they don't know if they'll ever trust you to look after that baby.
You know, all of this
I
is
wouldn't
just
want to be
making me,
near them.
Like, just be like, therapy.
Yeah.
OP really, really needs some therapy
Yeah.
on new parent.
Yeah, this isn't
Insecurities.
an okay way to treat your co-parent.
Absolutely not.
But-
it doesn't sit right with
But
me.
also,
that you just
like,
left.
what childcare is he able to do if he's not being allowed to hold the baby?
Even if it's not childcare, it's like, look, as parents, babe, we need to sort through this. I can't go running to someone else's house or a
Yeah,
hotel.
but that
when
could
I come back, we still have this problem
Easily
to talk
be a
out.
two-way thing if she's shut down as well.
Absolutely.
So, like,
you're right.
yeah.
I think you've definitely opened my mind to the idea that OP is not being entirely truthful with what happened in that conversation.
She's
That's
not
the realisation.
expanded fully, I don't think.
For sure.
Shall we see what some other people have to say?
And I really want to see if there's an update on this one.
You are the drama.
Mm-hmm.
That's his child too. He loves your son as much as you do and is entitled to hold his own child. Yeah.
Very this. And it's in the benefit of the child to do that as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you, mum, and dad. So why not?
Yeah.
You are the drama. If he is that bad, then why did you have a child with him?
Yeah.
It sounds like you need some.
Therapy.
As it seems you have some postpartum syndrome. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. You are the drama. That's as much his child as it is yours. Your husband is rightfully upset. You're the drama. Again.
Twice.
Again.
Two, you are the drama.
I'm gonna make the sandwich.
Drama sandwich. Just make it really clear that I think
Yes.
you are the problem here.
Yeah, that's not okay. Both your husband and child need each other's physical contact. Yeah, you're right. Skin to skin. It's so cool. Isn't it? I don't know if this is a myth, but I heard in like American hospitals and like privatized healthcare systems,
charge for it.
you have to pay for it
I've heard the
extra.
same, yeah.
But in like NHS, it's standard. In like straight couples, they'll get the dad specifically shirtless to hold baby. I'm going to be doing that. Little baby. You better let me.
I'm going to be giving birth and you're going to have your chest down there like just
Oh, yeah.
rubbing. Oh, God.
This has gone in a very weird
It
direction.
really has. This has nothing to do with this, but I do question, like, if you are severely autistic and you have sensation issues, because I know that's...
Sensory.
Sensory issues. Sensation. Sensory issues, which I understand is quite common with autism.
Yeah.
If you don't like touching people, which is a thing, how does that work?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'd love to know more about that.
OP, I'm very worried that you're experiencing postpartum anxiety. My best friend experienced the same thing after the birth of her second child. She literally panicked at the thought of her husband or anyone else holding him. It's not your fault. This is a very common occurrence for many women, but I strongly encourage you to contact your OB ASAP and tell them how you feel. This is a normal biological reaction. Postpartum anxiety is very real and is very easily treated and managed. For the sake of your own health and safety, as well as that of your family, please talk to your doctor about this. You deserve a joyful, loving, and secure motherhood, and your child and husband husband deserve the same.
I freaking love this comment, like brownie badge to this commenter, because I think this just shows how wonderfully communicated a point can be in a way that doesn't inflame a situation. We're sat here and we are like, we were going to get to this, don't worry, as we often do. But you know, like it's a little bit of fun here, but if all you're hearing is like, you're wrong for doing this, it can be really difficult. But the reality is postpartum is an issue. Postpartum anxiety is something that a lot of
postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression.
And it's severely underspoken about, and it can have huge effects. And it's so important to mention that it isn't your fault, but that doesn't mean that it isn't your problem. It may not be your fault, it's still your problem, and you need to fix this for your family.
Even if there is a very legitimate underlying cause for you panicking about your husband holding your baby, you're still the drama in this situation because he still deserves to hold that baby. I think it can be really difficult though, because unless somebody in OP's life, which I think is great, this is what I love about these forums, because I'm hoping that through the people that have been overly harsh, as I feel I was in the beginning, I think like I came from it from a response of like, oh my god, I'm going to be a dad one day, how would I feel if you wouldn't let me hold our baby? There's going to be that initial like, but I absolutely agree, this sounds a lot more like a postpartum syndrome rather than her just being no baby for you.
And who knows, maybe it's not, and maybe these are thoughts that she's had beforehand, in which case you still really need therapy, babe. Either way, I think you're so right. This is the value of having these kinds of forums, right? Because we can hear from the experiences of other people and learn so much from them, because we might not know people in our everyday lives who have gone through the exact same thing. So
totally agree.
Yay! Interestingly, I don't think there has been an update, but the post has been deleted.
I
Take from that what you will.
suspect OP got like an overwhelming "you are the drama."
Maybe it was like, okay, noted, moving on, or I'm not ready to deal with this, moving on. But either way, I'm really hoping for this family, OP was able to get over what they needed to and overcome their personal obstacles, because that sounds really important for them. Drama. Am I the drama, Jamie, for telling my friend that they can't bring their dog to my house anymore?
Oh, okay. This is a very context-dependent one because I could see context where we would ask people to not do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Context. I thought you meant like we've gone through people.
No.
I was like, what dogs do we know? But I don't think
we have two cats. If friends got a dog who was like angry and vicious towards cats, then the dog couldn't come to our house because this is the cat's home, so I'm not going to make it unsafe for them.
One less floof to cuddle.
Yes. Unfortunately, all of our family and friends with dogs, albeit some of them a little cheeky, are well behaved and nice
they're
to the
pretty okay
cats.
with the cats.
Yeah.
We have had them in separate rooms a couple of times.
Cats are my primary concern. That would be the thing that would stop me from wanting someone to bring their dog over.
I might just be because we've just done a kid one, but like, what about babies? I feel like that could also affect whether somebody has a dog or not around.
Yeah.
If you've got a little newborn, you probably don't want a really big dog who's super excitable, just in case.
Maybe. OP, a 24-year-old woman, says, I have a friend, Jess, a 25-year-old woman, who has a really energetic dog.
All the beans.
I love dogs, but Jess's pup is a bit too much for me. Whenever Jess comes over, her dog jumps all over my furniture, knocks things over, and just generally causes chaos. I've tried to be patient, but it's gotten to the point where I'm worried something will break or get ruined.
I know puppies, and I get it. Like, there are like big dogs who jump on like sofas and stuff, but if you're knocking things over, come on. Like,
this is an issue with your
tame your dog.
friend. It's not like you can have a really energetic dog who's still well behaved.
Yeah.
Like, Jess needs to train her dog better, maybe take the dog outside when he's
Barnaby,
particularly...
do not jump on that sideboard. Come back here, sit, good boy. Do you know what I mean?
Encouraging play with his own toys, like bringing his own things along. OP continues, last week I had a small gathering at my place and Jess brought her dog without asking. The dog ended up spilling drinks and knocking over some decorations.
Oh, no.
I was really stressed out and asked Jess to take the dog outside for a bit. She got upset and said I was being unreasonable. I have feelings.
Do you think that's unreasonable? Spilling some drinks and knocking over some decorations. That doesn't sound like the biggest thing, but again, it depends. Like, are you knocking over a Christmas tree or are you knocking over like a balloon?
Yeah, like did you pop a balloon and knock over a glass of sparkling water, or did you knock over a big stand of decorations and a bottle of red wine? Like they cause very
on a table that then went woof all over a carpet where a dog shouldn't have been on the table.
Yeah.
Because if you put wine on the floor, it's fine for a dog to knock that over. You're just being dumb.
Well, because a person I would knock that over.
You dummy.
Yeah,
for sure. Clumsy. See?
I'm holding the baby. OP continues.
Yes.
After that, I told her I'd prefer if she didn't bring her dog over anymore. She got really mad and said I was being a bad friend. Now I'm feeling guilty, but I just want to enjoy my space without worrying about the dog destroying everything. So am I the drama for telling my friend she can't bring her dog to my house anymore?
Oh no. I feel like I have to think about this one. I don't have like a badge in mind, and you know what's coming to my mind, like prominently. I know this isn't a dog, and I know that dogs are not the same as kids. However, there are some kids in our lives who, as sweet as they may be, like apple pie, I tell you, we know if they're coming over, we need to sweep the house. We do this little like run through, and we're like, okay, remove this, because these little hands, they get places, and because we don't have kids of our own, our house isn't set up to be kid friendly. You know, so you know there are certain rooms that you don't let the kids go in, and you know to move some glass breakable things higher up, or Lego. Jimmy has a lot of Lego.
Yeah.
And there are some sets that are just not for kids, which is ironic to say, but you know what I mean. So in that sense, I kind of feel like it is a bit of an overreaction to be like, look, don't bring your dog over anymore. Maybe you need to dog friendly your house if you've got a friend with a dog that you still want to keep seeing.
I do think there's a difference between dogs and kids though. If Jess and OP live several hours away from each other and it's like an overnight visit,
right?
that will change it.
Yeah.
If they're round the corner from one another, you can't leave your toddler alone for 3 hours. You can leave your dog alone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would never just think that it was a given that I could take my dog to any friend's house, regardless of what animals, what their situation was like.
I do think
it would
it's
always
a bit
be a
bizarre
permission
to think without asking.
Yeah.
There are some people that we know, some friends that we have, that we know always travel with their dog.
But that's because the ground rule was set down at the beginning, because they live 2 hours away, and it's like, when we come see you, we're gonna need to bring doggy, and we're like,
that's
sure.
my point. Like, we know,
and the dog is also nice.
And they'll typically always still say, and this dog is coming too, right?
Yeah.
Like, fine. In the same way, I think it'd be weird for someone to come over with their kid without asking. Or like, if I invited you and you brought a boyfriend. I don't know why you, my husband, would have a boyfriend. If I invited a friend and they just brought their friend or a boyfriend without asking, I'd be like, the hell, dude? Like, it's my house. You've got to tell me in advance if you're going to bring another being.
I do agree with
otherwise.
you. I do think a dog is much easier to leave behind than a child. I'd kind of naturally assume that if we invited friends over during the day or like early evening and they had kids, they would bring their kids. It's just an assumption I have, because I'm like, well, unless they mention something about a babysitter, I'm going to expect their kids to be there. Just because you cannot leave young children on their own.
Yes, but it's the way that you talk about it, isn't it? Like, it's just like, if I'm like, hey, Jessie and Claudia, we got a bouncy castle. Do you fancy bringing Rupert across? We'll all chill out. That's one conversation. I would also expect Jessie and Claudia to be like, oh, hey, come over for lunch to hang with us and Rupert. You know, like, you mentioned that the kid is there.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird to... I'm just saying, I think the friend is a little bit odd to just bring the dog to a gathering with other people without saying anything.
And also not knowing if those other people are okay with dogs, because some people are not comfortable with dogs. Ultimately, this does sound like Jess has not trained her dog and is not being a responsible dog owner, because a responsible dog owner, if they were asked and they were said, look, your dog has like broken a couple things or knocked over a few things, could you just like let him run out some beans outside and go with him? If they get annoyed at you, that kind of would make me go, right, well, I don't trust you to keep an eye on your dog properly in my house. You can't bring him until he's better trained. But I would have had more of a conversation of like, look, he's a bit destructive. You are not taking that responsibility when he's destructive. That's not the energy I want in my house. Otherwise, I'd have my own dog.
I appreciate that. The other side of the coin, though, as well, that I'm thinking is when you have a friend and your friend has a baby, you expect them to travel places with their baby. You know, your friendship does change. Similarly, when you have a friend and your friend has a dog, your friendship does change, because they can't go out for all-day events anymore without having to have something in place for said dog.
Yes.
It's just something that happens, right?
Yeah.
And so I also wonder if maybe there is a little bit of accountability that does fall on OP to be like, it's the drastic measure for me of being like, no, don't bring your dog here, instead of, look, can we talk about this where you need to make sure your dog doesn't destroy things? Well, that also sounds like maybe
I feel like maybe that might have already happened. That's why I'm saying I don't think it was a jump from internally your dog annoys me to don't bring your dog. There was that middle step of could you please deal with your dog? The refusal from Jess to deal with her dog. Okay, no, I do have a badge.
See, my gut was going to say everybody sucks here, but where Jess sucks more than OP. But after hearing you, I feel like maybe this is not the drama.
I'm a not the drama, and I actually don't think OP is in the wrong. I think it can be seen as harsh, and I think it could impact a friendship dynamic. But if you don't want an over energetic, destructive dog in your home where the owner does not take responsibility, you don't have to have that.
Do you know what? And also just bringing it back to general principles. If you don't want a dog in your home,
You don't have to have a dog in your home.
to do that. It's your home, babe.
People,
Yeah, you're right. Not the drama.
Dog care is a thing. Asking other people to look after your dog when you go, or going out for shorter periods of time so that you can get back to your dog. It changes your lifestyle, and you need to accept that some of your friends are not going to want a dog.
In which case, your friendships may also change, and that's something that you just have to deal with.
I know a lot of people view their dog as a child.
Yes.
And I call our cats my fur babies.
Cats are different though, right? Because you don't need to bring your cats
No, but what I'm saying is I'm not trying to diminish the love that people have for their pets. Dogs are different to babies.
Of course. But it depends on how you're categorizing. Do you know what I mean? Like, one has fur, one does not. Okay, a baby is not a dog. However, at the same time, they both need constant care. They both need to be looked after. They both can't be left alone.
A dog can be.
For a day.
Yeah, but it can be.
They both need
for like
a minder.
going out for dinner. Going out for dinner with friends.
Yeah,
you can leave your
dog
dog at home.
You can't leave a child.
Yeah, having no pets and no children, ultimate flexibility.
Yeah.
Having cats, reasonable flexibility. Having dogs,
That's why we have
limited
cats and not dogs.
flexibility. Having a child, very little flexibility to no flexibility. That's how I view it. I've had a dog in my life, so I have that experience, but I haven't had a child myself. So maybe I'm being a bit extreme or not extreme enough.
Well, yeah,
but
'cause you can always like give your if there's
That's
two
why I
of
said
you
little.
and you're going out, then I could look after the babies. You go have your friend's dinner.
But I want to go out with you. You're my best friend.
Okay, if we go out for a meal, then a loved one can look after a baby
Okay.
for a couple hours. But I do hear what you're saying. I think ultimately you're right. I was genuinely thinking this isn't everybody sucks here, just because I think it's so harsh and extreme to be like, look, just don't bring your dog here anymore. However, you are perfectly entitled to do that, and you're right. It's not like there's not been steps in between. Jess has shown that she can't manage a dog very well somewhere else where something negative has happened.
And take constructive criticism, okay?
Yeah.
Because I have thought of people in the past who have had dogs, not current people with dogs. We love you, your dogs are welcome. In the past,
Yeah,
where...
they are. I was just trying to think, like, wait, is that truthful? But
no,
yeah,
it
for
is.
sure.
Where I can think of a certain dog that I didn't like their behaviour, and I wouldn't have wanted them back in the house, but circumstances meant they didn't anyway, really. It was only a couple times, and it wasn't very frequently, so I dealt with it. But the behaviour made me not happy.
And if that had kept going for a couple of times,
I would have said, I'm really sorry, your dog needs to be trained better before they can come back to my house.
or it'd be like, our place is not dog friendly. It's all about how you phrase it as
Yeah.
well, isn't it? I'd be like,
And
sorry, our
it's-
place is not dog friendly, we'll come to you.
It's
Let's go
also-
to the park. Let's do this, that.
I'm just pointing out, 99% of the time, it's not even the dog, it's the owner. Jess is the problem, not that dog. Yeah.
Oh no, little doggies are never the problem. How could they possibly be the problem? So according to her, says this commenter, being a good friend is you letting her dog destroy your home. She is the one being a bad friend. She's the one not honouring your boundaries or respecting your home, your house, your rules, not the drama.
Yes.
I do agree with this on the basis of the your house, your rules. I think I got so lost in the dog thing, like I forgot about just the general context
I
of what we're
think
talking about.
you have a lot of empathy for the friends in our lives who have dogs. But we both are very open to bringing them over.
No, I don't think it's personally fueled. I think it's just
Okay.
like, oh, well, let me see if there's a way to make you guys still be friends. I just want everyone to be happy, so I'm like trying to figure that out first. But I do hear you, and I don't think that OP's being unreasonable. The one thing that I'll just say is like the whole like, oh, destroying your home. Like sometimes that happens. It's not your fault. If I had a dog or a baby, there have been many times
Yes.
where parents or fluff parents and squish parents have come to our house and something has been broken.
Yeah.
And I will never be like, how dare you? It happens.
Yeah, and guess what? There's been times when adult friends have broken stuff.
Right,
And
yeah.
it's like, it happens.
Like, it happens.
Yeah. It's how and that's why I'm
It's
saying
how
this
the
is
person
Jess,
reacts.
not the dog.
Yes.
Because it's Jess's responsibility to go, I'm so sorry
Let's
that...
make sure that doesn't happen
yeah.
again. And
Barnaby
let's make
broke
sure...
your glass. I will replace it. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, and it's sweet if they offer to replace if it's something of that nature
Yeah.
that should be replaced. Opie's actually responded to this one.
Oh, thanks for responding to me so quickly. Exactly. I absolutely adore dogs. I would never want her to feel like it's something I have against her. It's purely that I'm tired of property being damaged. That makes sense. It sounds like it's built up. Each time I've said to her I'm unhappy with all damages, she laughs it off as though it's a joke and says, puppies will be puppies. It's what they're supposed to do. No. What is Jess's house like?
Oh god, it's not what they're supposed... Okay, that totally
Yeah,
changes
that does
things, doesn't
change it.
Yeah.
So she's diminishing the fact that my expensive and sentimental belongings are being ruined. friend. No, like if a dog
that's
is
not
that
okay.
destructive, no, lifetime ban until I see that they are better behaved.
I, just being the people pleaser I
I'd
guess
ban
I am,
Jess, actually.
I probably would have done a sweep after like once or twice. Been like, well, no, I know the dog goes on this worktop. I know they go over here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get rid of this stuff and shut these doors and be like, no, you're not allowed in there.
To be fair, we put a baby gate up
Yeah, that's
for
what I'm saying.
dogs.
Actually, we do have a bit of an unruly dog in our life, and they can be very unruly when you're not around them. And when they do try and sneak off, that silly little floof, I will be like, Jamie, go. Or like,
I know
I'll
who
run up
you're
and be like,
thinking
oh,
of.
come back here.
He's not a destructive dog, though.
No, but
He
he's
doesn't
cheeky.
destroy things. He's just cheeky, and he
He's
wants
very
to go
cheeky.
explore the house, and he wants to be best friends with the cats, but one of our cats doesn't like dogs very much.
Yeah, little prawn has like a trauma which we think has happened from like when he was previous people, but he clearly has an issue with dogs, and we think something might have happened there.
Yeah.
He is like deathly afraid of them.
Yeah, but if we do a baby gate and he can stay upstairs and dogs can't get to him, he'll come and sit and look. He's not stressed with dogs in the house as long as he knows there's a separation.
And each time does get closer.
He gets a
and
little bit closer.
yeah,
Yeah.
like over the years,
He's
he
getting
has-
there.
Yeah, he is improving.
Yeah.
Let's put some little love for Prawn in the comments and manifest his growth and his bravery. I love dogs. I have dogs. I have had puppies. They have ruined various things in my home. Keywords: my home. You are allowed to have boundaries. Enforce them, not the drama.
Yeah. OP did not choose to have a dog.
Yeah.
Jess chose to have a dog.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Yep,
dog
yep.
is Jess's
You
responsibility.
are so right. And Jess, bring toys so that your dog is stimulated where they are and not ruining other people's
Yeah.
stuff.
This attitude that will be, oh yeah, like boys will be boys.
Puppies will be puppies, boys will be boys.
Is
What is wrong
so
with you?
gross, like genuinely disgusting. It's literally just a way to let people get away with harmful behaviours.
Yes,
Behaviours that if parents / owners / society decided to put the work in could be learned differently.
Agreed.
Your friend is a huge a-hole and I'd be billing them for anything the dog ruins going forward and would not let their dog back into your house either at all or until they are trained. Yeah, I would do that as well.
I do think the billing is maybe a little bit far. Like, you'll definitely
It
ruin
depends.
the friendship.
If it had been a conversation before and I'd been like, please be mindful of what your dog does, and then the dog went and destroyed like a glass table or like a piece of furniture that you can't put away,
Sure.
and you're just like, please do not let your dog
Yeah,
shit on the furniture.
If it's a bigger piece of furniture, then you would hope that Jess would be like, I'm so sorry, let me help replace that.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like a photo frame, don't be sending an invoice.
Or do if you don't want to be friends anymore and you're just like, I'm done.
That's what you do, mate. You didn't get the puppy, she did. Expecting you to be okay with her dog destroying your place and causing damage is manipulative and not what a friend would do. Plus, it doesn't sound like she's doing any training so soon she won't be able to use the puppies will be puppies
Yeah.
excuse anymore.
That's the thing.
That is true.
She's going to have a fully, I don't know if it's a big dog or a small dog, but she's going to have an adult dog.
Unruly
that-
puppies who are badly trained turn into unruly dogs.
Yeah.
And it's sad for the dog, because you're right, it's not the dog's
It's not
fault,
their
it's
fault.
the owners.
Yeah.
Like, do better. I'd have to say that it really pisses me off when people
pissed off.
take a dog. You take responsibility
Yeah.
of a life and then you treat that dog like crap. Like,
Yeah.
you don't discipline them. What are you doing? Why? It doesn't benefit anyone, and it specifically doesn't benefit the dog. Like, I know dogs don't have feelings in the same way that we do, but I'm like, God, you're giving that dog such a bad reputation, and it's not their fault.
But it's like anybody who takes on a responsibility, whether that's like a pet that should be trained and taught certain ways in a house, or like how to walk outside and whatever, or a child. Like, we've seen people with incredibly unruly children, and I'm like, they're highly likely going to become incredibly unruly adults. They're going to get the blame for it when they're adults, but it's not their fault because that's upbringing they've had. Although I do think humans have a bigger capacity to like make amends later in life and adjustments,
And that's what we call trauma.
and then the dog will get blamed.
Yes.
Bleh.
Okay.
Ugh. People like Jess just shouldn't have dogs.
Drama. All right, our final submission for today is coming from Concerned Friend, a fellow Peach. Remember, if you too would like to submit your own drama, you can now do so by the 1-800-DRAMA subreddit. The link's downstairs in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the notes on the podcast platforms.
So Concerned Friend asked, my friend's fiance cheated, but somehow I'm the villain.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, sorry, say that again?
My friend's
friend's
fiance cheated, but somehow I'm the
fiancé.
villain. Oh, is this going to be a shoot the messenger type situation? Juicy. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I'm not reveling in the juiciness of your drama, but you know, this sounds sucky.
Opie's a 27-year-old woman, says, I have a friend, Faithful, 26-year-old woman, who is engaged to Cheetah,
I love this.
33-year-old man. And their wedding is in a few months. Hang on, wait, so we got Faithful and Cheetah, because they're words. I need to
Yeah.
frame them as names in my mind. Faithful and Cheetah engaged to be married. Okay. One night, Faithful sends a message to me and our other friend, Genuine.
I love this. So OP's concerned friend. Oh, okay.
So our other friend,
clever.
Genuine, 27-year-old woman, saying that she thinks the wedding is off.
Oh.
Imagine receiving that. My heart would fall out of my arsehole.
I'd be in the car
I would
going
be like,
to that friend.
I need to fix this right now.
Where
What's
are
going
you?
on? Yeah. Faithful says that she received messages and proof that Cheetah was cheating on her for a few months. She confronted him and he admitted to it, so she kicked him out their apartment. The next day, Genuine and I decided to surprise Faithful by driving 2 hours to her to console her and so that she wouldn't be alone. Faithful isn't sure what to do, but is leaning towards breaking it off. Genuine and I support that option.
Got you. All sounds very horrible for Faithful, but like kind of typical of, shit hitting the fan, friends rallying around. I'm intrigued to see where this is going.
I also think it's really sweet that Faithful has friends like Genuine and Concerned who are able to like come and you're still laughing at the names.
It's given me some great baby name inspiration.
Who is just there for you,
Yeah.
This feels like the true word of like girlfriends. I really wanted girlfriends. I feel like this is what girlfriends do.
You're so cishet, Shaaba.
I don't have girlfriends in that sense.
Girlfriends.
I want girlfriends.
Girlfriends, sorry.
All the girlfriends that I do have are just really far away. I want some like local girlfriends. A few days
You want to
later,
have a brunch club, don't you?
A few days later, we agreed to go to Faithful's place again to be there for support whilst Cheetah moves his stuff out.
Right.
The night before, we get a text saying that we don't have to because he's not moving out. Genuine and I are upset by this decision, but suggest that if they want to stay together, he should still probably move out for some time as they repair their relationship. Ooh, this is giving me some funny feelings. Do I wanted to pose this question, but I wanted to get through it first, but this feels like a good time to ask it. How would you feel, right, if a friend of yours was like, my partner cheated on me, but I'm still wanting to be with them? I would really, really struggle with that because cheating is such a big no-no to me.
No, it is to me as well. It is, and I do think that a majority of people who cheat once will do it again. But at the same time, that's not my life. Their cheating is not my thing to forgive or not forgive because they didn't do it to me. If my friend feels like they want to stay in that relationship, I'd give advice. So I'd be like, please look after yourself. If you were worried at any time, I'm here to talk to you. I don't think I would be able to do what you're doing and forgive like this.
But if this is the support that you need from me
if
as a
this
friend.
is the path that you are going to go down, I'm going to be there as a friend. I wouldn't like blindly be like a yes man supporting and going, yeah, this is the right thing to do. I'd tell them what I think, but I would also support them.
I wouldn't be doing what you're doing. But
Yes.
if you're sure that this is what you want to do, regardless of the outcome, I'm here for you.
Precisely.
How then would you feel if, because a wedding's coming up, I'm assuming that Concerned and Genuine are involved in the wedding somehow. Would you go to the wedding? Would you support as like a bridesmaid? Well, obviously you wouldn't be a bridesmaid, but well, you make a very pretty bridesmaid. Would you
Thank you.
support as a bridesmaid?
I would, but I would be giving side eyes to this guy, just like
I don't know how I would feel about that.
not
being in the
sexy
open.
side eyes.
No.
But you know what I mean.
Dagger side
Yeah.
eyes, yeah. Unless there was a reason for the cheating. Like, there are some elements of cheating that I will allow. I can see why it's okay. Like, if relationships are fully broken down and you're technically together but not actually together, or if one person's already cheated on you and therefore there is like no relationship.
Yeah, but then then I wouldn't. I would be very like, well, if you really want to stay together, but I don't think it's a good idea. That's when I wouldn't be like,
this is a hot mess and I don't think this is right.
Or if they were on a break.
We were on a break!
My opinion is they were, but I wouldn't have done what he did.
You fell
That makes sense.
asleep?
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Sorry, concerned friend. We are here to help you. Genuine and I are upset by this decision, but suggest that if they want to stay together, he should still probably move out for some time as they repair the relationship.
Yes.
We also suggest postponing the wedding and going to couples counselling. I actually think that's a really, really clever idea.
Yes,
That's
although
a really sensible
postponing a
suggestion.
wedding can be expensive,
But having a wedding
when it's
for a
not the right
relationship that
time.
may not continue,
Yeah.
just to have another wedding
No, I
is
do.
even more expensive.
I do hear you. The wedding complicates things because I do think it should be postponed, but logistically, if the couple feel like ultimately they will get married, you're unlikely to convince somebody
I
to
think it's
postpone.
also really hard when you're like, it depends on who knows. If everybody knows that this person has cheated,
Yeah.
then postponing the wedding would make sense because there's less social stigma because people will be like, I get it.
Yeah.
But if nobody knows except for a select few close friends or loved ones, then it would be really hard to postpone a wedding and not
Yeah.
give a reason.
Yeah.
So I get that, but I do think as a friend, like at least being like, hey, I need you to know that it is an option to not get married on this day.
Yeah. Yes.
That is a really sensible thing to do as a friend.
Sorry.
Faithful didn't like these suggestions and things got a little heated. We all said some things that we regret. For example, I said, says OP, it was like talking to a brick wall because Faithful was just ignoring our concerns and suggestions. It sounds like Faithful is trying really hard to keep this relationship together. I want to read on, but I
Yeah.
can see this from both points of view.
Yeah.
I could see this from Faithful's point of view, being like, guys, as friends, I need you to be here for me in this capacity. And if you are not doing that, you are causing me more hindrance than you are help right now. And this is why I'm getting heated. However, as the friends,
I can see why it's hard.
and I think that's especially true if what Faithful is experiencing is concerned and genuine overstepping as friends and not staying in their lane and being like, I don't think you should be in this relationship. What the frick are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, if you've made your decision, you as a friend, if you still want to be with this person, or like friends with this person, you need to be like, if this is what you feel you need to do right now, I've said my piece, don't keep going on about it. At the same time, I also totally see it from the other side, where concerned and genuine are like, this girl is in total Delulu land. She's got friggin' rose-coloured glasses on, and she's on cloud nine, and she is not realising the toxicity she's about to enter, and it's so frustrating to not be able to save someone from that.
Yeah. I'm having thoughts. I want to read on.
I'm having quite like personal thoughts as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard. Genuine and I were supposed to be bridesmaids. There we go. I knew that was coming. We still wanted to remain friends with Faithful, but we would back out of the wedding because we couldn't stand there and support it.
Interesting.
We couldn't imagine not being at Faithful's wedding, even if we disliked Cheetah, so we expected to still be there as guests.
Oh, okay, so they didn't back out entirely. It's difficult.
We gave Faithful some space, but tried to start up a conversation a few weeks later, only to be ignored. Another couple of weeks go by, and I get a notification that I was removed from the bridesmaids group chat, and I can see that Genuine was... Well, hang on, so can I just confirm, you told Faithful that you weren't going to be bridesmaids, but you still just expected to be there as guests.
Yeah.
And then you tried to reach out, and she's removed from the chat. No word from Faithful, but we gave her a few days before questioning why she didn't have the courtesy to tell us directly that we were out of the wedding. But I thought you asked to be out of the wedding.
Yeah, I'm confused. I get that she's also Faithful's giving the silent treatment, but I figured that being removed from the bridesmaids group chat would be a wanted thing
because you said we're not going to be bridesmaids.
Yeah, maybe they mean out of the wedding entirely. Maybe they found out that they weren't being invited.
Like directly that we were out of the wedding. Yeah, that makes sense entirely. This ended up starting a back and forth of lengthy messages, Genuine and I saying that we were trying to look out for Faithful and her happiness, and Faithful mad at us for being upset about her decision and saying that we were inserting ourselves into their relationship and we had no right to do that.
I mean, she did kind of invite you in by being the ones that she went to when she found out he cheated.
Well, it was only Genuine, and then Genuine involved Concerned.
Right.
But just because you ask for some help doesn't mean, you know, like these two people now have or should be feeling entitled to let you know what you should be doing with your relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't a comment on who's right or wrong. It was just, it's a grey area.
It is tricky, yeah. Genuine and I haven't talked to Faithful since, and I keep wondering, are Genuine and I the drama for giving our honest opinions and only wanting Faithful to think more about her options before making such a huge decision? Thus, am I the villain?
Oh, honestly? Okay. Oh, no. Right.
You're really struggling with this one.
I'm struggling because I'm trying to put myself in the position from both sides, because not that I would ever expect you to cheat and not that I would expect forgiveness from you, but I think if you did cheat and we as a couple discussed it and I wanted to forgive and move on from that and I trusted you not to do it again, I would then want our friends who maybe knew about that to respect what we had decided as a couple and what I had decided to do within my relationship.
Just before you continue, I need to just say, this is my bad. I just needed to let the Peaches know in case you change my decision.
Okay. And I would, as a friend, I'd be like, okay, I don't really like your partner anymore because they cheated on you and they hurt you, but that's something between the two of you to work out and deal with. Where the line is crossed is if there's like abuse involved. If somebody's being abused and really like you're worried for their safety.
And that could also be in terms of mental health.
And that could be. Like that's when I would try and be more involved.
Controlled,
manipulated. Yeah. And like maybe there's something like that going on here that we don't know about. And, you know, maybe that's why the friends are overly concerned. But I'm just thinking from my perspective and from the perspective of like friends, if I found out that their partner had cheated and they'd forgiven and tried to work it through, I'm not going to be like, oh, you idiot, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to be like, I can see why in that circumstance you wanted to try again. That kind of vibe. Like, it's not for me to say if they can forgive their partner or not.
If this happened to us and you cheated on me and my friends knew about it, it's a bit weird as well saying my friends because we share so many of our friends, and then we decided to try and make things work, I'd be like, I do think it'd be part of that discussion for me to be like, I'm willing to try with this relationship in whatever capacity we've discussed, but you know my friends are going to hate you. You know our friends are not going to approve of this. I would totally expect you to be in communication with them.
Oh.
I would expect, because
And,
of
like,
course they're gonna
explain
hate
it
you.
and be like,
I would expect you to be like, I f***ed up.
Big time.
I know this isn't good, and
Yeah.
I am very, very committed to trying to do better by Shaaba, and this is what I hope to do, and I hope I can regain your trust again. I would totally
I hear
expect,
that.
as a friend, a partner to say that, especially if you all like hung out together.
Yeah,
the fact that you are like a bridesmaid. Oh well, no. Some people do have
Might
very
not
separate
know,
friends.
yeah.
But
They
still,
might
I
barely
would still
know her
expect that.
partner.
I know.
Okay.
You haven't changed my badge though.
Okay, I'm very stuck on a badge. My badge is a two-parter. OP is not the drama, but I almost think it's a no drama here except cheater, because I can see why things have got spicy between the friends, and I don't fully agree with Faithful's actions, but I can see how the result has happened, and I think it's just this miscommunication. I can just see how it's ended up this way. I can see how friends who are so passionate about wanting to care about their friend could feel like their friend feels like they maybe overstepped, and I can feel like the friend who was cheated on could feel like she just wants to forgive her partner and move on, and having friends like Concerned and Genuine is preventing that from happening,
Sure.
or like holding her back from that.
My badge is everybody sucks here.
Oh.
I'm like so certain about that. So
Okay.
it just confused me when you were like no drama here. I was like, oh, that's like the entire opposite of what I'm saying.
I feel like we're seeing it the same, but the conclusion of what that means in terms of like blame and stuff is a bit different, because I think it's cheater, and then these friends are just so strong in their own opinions of like, I want to protect my friend and I want to forgive my boyfriend and move on, and it's clashing, but they're not meaning to be assholes or dicky. It's just
That's why for a second I was thinking undeserved drama as the badge.
right.
And actually, I think maybe, sorry, we're going through all the badges today. I think what's happening is the gap between your no drama here, if that's what you go for, and my everybody sucks here, is this middle badge of needing more information. And I
Yeah.
think what we need is to actually fully understand, to be able to decide which of that it is, what it is that you said, and just how much that Concerned and Genuine were pushing compared to what Faithful was saying.
I do feel like I could be very swayed to say everybody sucks here, because when I say no drama here, I don't mean that there's not drama in the story. I'm just not calling Concerned or Faithful
good intention
shit.
People, drama. But at the same time, hell is paved with good intentions, and that's why there's nuance and why we need to discuss these things.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from.
Ah.
For me, obviously cheater is the drama.
Yeah.
Right? The biggest asshole here. Yeah, we don't even sugarcoat that with the word drama. The reason that I find Faithful and Genuine to be the drama is because of a growth moment that I've learned from these past couple of years, actually. And that is, it is not your life. There are so many times, this is like the biggest life lesson that I feel like I've learned, and it's most pertinent in my brain. I want to live life a certain way. I have values and I have things that I would want to do in certain situations. And it's taken me the best part of 20 freaking years to realize that just because I want it doesn't mean that everybody else wants it too. And just because other people don't want it doesn't mean that we should be assigning moral values to how we live our lives compared to how other people live their lives. And I just think this is one of those situations where you need to stay in your lane as a friend. It's such a complicated, sensitive thing, and if Faithful is feeling like what you're doing is pressuring her to go against what she's already decided, and therefore you're not being a good friend, your job at that point is to, one, make sure that Faithful knows of all of the options. So as long as you said, hey, cancelling the wedding or postponing the wedding are options available to you, your job is not to do more than that. You can't go like, and I think you should do this, even though Faithful has turned around and said, I don't want this to be done. At that point, your job is to focus on you, right? You are in control of your autonomy. You need to let people do what they need to do. And if focusing on your autonomy means saying, I don't agree with this, but as your friend, I'm here for you in however this works out, that's one option.
Yeah.
Or if it's saying, I don't agree with this and I'm so sorry, I therefore can't be
can't
for you
support
as a friend in
this.
this capacity.
Yeah.
You need to remove yourself from that situation. You can't expect Faithful to change. That's where I'm coming at it from.
Yeah.
But the needing more information is because I'm assuming that what you've done is overstepped.
Yeah, I think that maybe I should have been more information, because I did no drama here, because I felt like it was both sides just not agreeing. Everybody in the situation wants the best for Faithful.
I know, and I don't
That's
think,
it.
just like to put it out there, OP, I don't think that you are an asshole by any means, and I can see that what you're doing is acting from really good intentions. I do think sometimes that having the best intentions for someone, and I have fallen victim to this so many times, can lead to you actually being an unsupportive person, especially by pushing someone to do something that they are not ready to
Yeah.
do. It might be, and it often is the case, right, that people in Faithful's position,
She'll get there on her
know
own.
that this is not okay. They can't do that right now. And so
Yeah.
all you're doing is making things more stressed out for them because they can't act in a way that perhaps they need to.
Yeah.
And now they feel like they've lost you as a friend too. right? In these situations, like, it's true. Like, when I've gone to the police and been like, this person is in trouble, they will genuinely ask you, are you sure you want to report this? Because if they are not ready to do this,
then nothing will happen.
no, it's not that nothing will happen. It will be worse for them because then the other people will know, and it makes things significantly worse. I'm not saying that means that we all should stay silent when things are not going right. We need to be there for our friends, but sometimes being there for our friends means letting them have the space that they need to figure out when they're ready to make that important move.
I can see exactly where this comes from.
And as you can see, this is coming from a very personally biased place. That's why I do think that maybe you guys do need to take a little bit of accountability. And then I do think that Faithful is also the drama for not speaking to you and just removing from the wedding.
The next bit I was going to say is I can see it from Faithful's perspective of if things got heated and things were said out of anger on both sides. Honestly, like, put yourself in her shoes. If she's chosen and said that even if it's just temporary, that she wants to move on, and even if you are like, I know this relationship isn't going to work out, she's made that decision to try and make it work, and they're getting married soon. Honestly, why would you want people at your wedding who were pushing so hard for you to break up with a partner that you were desperately trying to stay together, knowing that they were there just judging and thinking that this shouldn't be happening? I wouldn't want people there, even if I'm technically in the wrong for continuing with this relationship.
But I do think the silence is wrong.
The silence is wrong, but I can see why she doesn't want you there at all, personally.
Yeah. And in which case, she should say to you guys, look, I don't feel like you're going to support, and so if you're not going to support, don't come.
Yeah.
Are you still here to support me?
And again, the biggest problem here is bad communication.
I see, though, how this is not your fault that this has happened, concerned friend, and how you are a concerned friend. And I really hope that however this has worked itself out to be, I am really hoping that you're still able to be there to support Faithful, because it sounds like she needs some help. Even if this relationship does end up going really well, that's going to take time to repair that trust, and she needs friends. But at the same time, you need to do what's right for you, just like she needs to do what's right for her.
Yeah.
That was a tricky one.
Yeah, no, it was so tricky, and I feel like there's not really one individual badge that suits it. I think it would maybe settle on I need more information.
Sure.
But if what I'm assuming about the situation is correct, I would still give a
no drama here
because it's two groups of people looking out for Faithful for herself and her friends for Faithful. And
everybody loves Faithful, and that's really sweet.
I think little bits have been done wrong, but not enough where I'm like, you suck. Do you know?
I think for me, I feel the need to put that accountability because my past experiences has been that's a really important lesson for me to learn, and I take accountability. So I'd feel like a bit of a fraud to not be looking in the mirror that way and not give the accountability.
I do hear you, and maybe being the person seeing somebody in that situation and going through it means that's why I'm more leaning towards a no drama here, because I could see it in you.
But also, isn't that a beautiful thing? We haven't come to the same badge conclusion, and that's okay.
I'm actually really mad at you. Like, we're gonna fall out.
I see it in the comments. Whenever I look at YouTube comments, people are just like, I think you're so disgusting for saying that they're the drama, or no drama here, like, Shaaba, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, people get like really aggressive about it, and I have to like think to myself like, okay, it's not personal. No, but it's not personal.
Yeah.
And it's okay for us to differ. We're all seeing this from our own lenses, and I actually think it's really powerful to realize and acknowledge that there isn't one badge that fits every situation. And actually, more importantly than whatever badge we give is these discussions that we have, and being able to understand it from other people's points of view.
Yeah.
Because life is complicated. Life is not black and white. Life is not one badge.
You know, there's going to be people who've been in Faithful's position who will read this story or listen to our comments on it and be like, oh my God, guys, you absolutely suck. How could you even suggest that Faithful was in any way wrong in this situation?
Yeah. Or there might be people in Faithful's position being like, you guys have been so mean to these friends. I was in that position and I wish my friends pushed me more to do what I know I needed to do.
That's why as the friend in this situation, you push a bit and you see how the friend reacts, the friend who's been cheated on reacts to that and where they want to go with it. And then you're like, I have told you my opinion. You need to live your life.
Me as a friend, I need to tell you that you have options. And I will also tell you what option I would go for and what option I think is best for you. And if you go for a different option, I'd like to think that I could be there as a friend to be like, and I'm still here for you, even though I disagree with you.
You are very that.
Because it's your life.
You are very that with me as well. Like,
it's your life.
What was it? I had apple crumble for lunch the other day. And you were like, are you sure, Jamie, you want this? Because like, you wouldn't want that.
I mean, that's a very trivial example.
No, that's fine, but I'm making it trivial. But you were like, if you want dessert for lunch,
you do that.
You do that, babe.
And if you get a tummy ache because you had an entire apple crumble that's supposed to serve 4, then I will be there for you. I will also let you know that I don't think this is a good idea, and I wouldn't do it if I were you.
And then I just sat there really happy with my apple crumble, and you were like, okay, sure.
And to be fair, your tummy was fine.
My tummy was absolutely fine. It was actually really happy. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much, Peaches, for watching today's episode. What do you think? And also, what do you think for Concerned Friend? I feel like that was a really messy one, but remember that Concerned Friend doesn't have any forum with opinions, so let's be that forum for them.
Yes.
Put your little fuzzy butts downstairs in the comment section and give your advice. Just remember to be kind.
You have a fuzzy butt.
I have a fuzzy butt, that's why we're all peaches.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can rate it on podcast platforms, and it really does help us out. You can even rate the individual episode if you want to. We would really appreciate any rating you want to give.
On Apple Podcasts, people can leave reviews, and we actually looked through them recently. I genuinely had a tear in my eye, and Jamie was like, this is so emotional. It was so sweet. Thank you so much for everyone who's taken the time out to review the podcast.
Yeah, we love this podcast, and it's really nice to see other people enjoy it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can give a thumbs up and subscribe to the wonderful channel. I'd very recommend that, and go join the discussion in the comments.
Or over on the subreddit. It's going to be so exciting to see this like pop and fizzle. Come join us for all the energy.
Like a juicy peach.
We'll catch you next time with another episode. Be kind.
Much love.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Saddle up, go on, let your freak show. Yeah, they're trying to tame the power of the freak show.